Well, we are official.
We are. Welcome back to the Lone and Dreary World podcast. We've been away for a week or two.
And it really has felt like a lone and dreary world lately.
Without you. I know.
Oh, without you as well. Yes, that's
Yeah.
what I meant. I
Yeah.
mean, I wasn't talking about the weather or the news or anything else. I was specifically meaning you.
Oh, okay.
Wink, wink.
Yeah.
I am not in space anymore. You are still, living it up in San Francisco. I think we all know what that means
We
without really
do.
saying what that means. Being your true self, letting your flag fly, if you will. I'm not sure what colors those flags are. I think tonight we're going to learn exactly what colors they are. That's foreshadowing of
Yeah.
the topics that might be happening tonight. But yes,
Okay. Yeah. So
I
I mean,
think I
before
think it might be red.
red, yellow, and white, or yeah, is it
No, I think red,
blue?
yellow, blue, maybe.
Yeah. That's right. Red, yellow, blue. I should know this, but you know,
I
I
thought for
don't.
sure you knew exactly what I was saying.
Yeah. No, I knew what you were talking about.
So,
I'm trying to think.
so I am gonna preface a little bit that just as a reminder to the audience, if they don't know or forgotten, that you and I have both served uh, LDS missions. They're 2-year missions, and you can go anywhere where the church is. We're not in every country, but essentially, when you're American and you're going to serve a mission, we call it serving a foreign mission, or what do we
Serving
call it?
stateside.
Stateside. I drew a blank. I was like, what is it? Domestic? No, it's not domestic. It's so stateside or foreign. And you and I both went foreign.
Yep.
Yeah, I went to the Philippines, and
Yep.
Mr. Cameron went to Venezuela.
A little known place that hasn't been in the news at all.
No one has ever heard of this place. It's it gets confused with all those other. It's in Southeast Asia, right?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought. Because I went to Southeast Asia. I thought it was one of those places over there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, nothing there at all. But I drew a blank what I was going to say. I'm okay.
Anyway, I actually probably walked by the palace where the kidnapping or whatever you want to call it, where
Oh
Maduro.
yes, let's be as dramatic as possible and call it a
It's
kidnapping.
kidnapping. It's okay. He woke
Oh,
up. He just took a nap at school.
I realized what I forgot to. What I was going to say is I said Venezuela, but whenever you say that country and the city, you have to go Caracas,
Caracas.
Venezuela. Yeah,
Yes.
you can't say it in an American accent. If you're in the news and you speak Spanish, you have to get
Yeah.
in the super deep, accent.
Yes,
So I
definitely.
forgot to do that. I apologize. I'm not Spanish speaking, so I can't do that hard, proper way to say that
Yeah.
country and city.
That's okay. It's all right. So yeah, we're talking about Venezuela. I actually have some ladies at work that are from Venezuela, and there's a Spanish congregation where I go to church, and there's some Venezuelans from there, and I have
You
not
know,
talked to anyone who is from Venezuela who lived a major or at least a large part of their life there that is not super excited.
but the media, they really come on. Can we really trust a handful of people, can we really trust what that, you know,
No.
everyone's really, really upset by this, especially white people.
Yes, I know. Sorry.
We both have a peanut gallery over here.
I think I'm gonna have
Lindsay,
peanut.
we're recording. Why? Oh, she just interrupted. She ruined the whole podcast.
I know. Well, Jaclyn's over here dying laughing too. So
Yeah. I can't believe we just recorded one of my outbursts. That's probably gonna. Oh man. Someone
well,
call.
any of the
adult
singles that'll
protective
see it
surface.
are going to be like, I dodged a bullet.
Oh, you know, as a quick ADD side note, you know what I used to love, Cameron, about the singles group
What?
is not only were we a group of quote unquote LDS singles, I loved how someone who spent maybe 2 hours with me, maybe three, all of a sudden knew exactly who I was and what I was all about, and made sure they told everybody exactly who I was and what I was all about after this tiny little interaction.
Yeah.
I love that, because we're LDS, of course we have the power of the spirit and discernment, right? And so we are just and we have these tools and these gifts that just enable us to do those amazing judgments towards people.
Well, I prayed to God, and and Jaclyn, I told her that God told me that she needed to be my wife. That's
Oh,
you know.
really?
It worked.
That's
Lindsay just basically flew out to my house and showed up at my doorstep and said, "No, we're getting hitched. You
Yeah.
can't get out of it."
Well,
Can't ignore me. She just showed up. I didn't ask her to come visit me. I didn't know she was coming to visit me.
a lie.
And she just knocked on the door, and I'm like, "Lindsay?" And she's like, gets down on one knee and says, "We're getting married."
well, we know who's wearing the skirts here.
Well, she prayed about it, so that's my point.
Oh, so she prayed about it, and it was just you
Yeah.
learning what
So,
God's will for her was. Gotcha.
I think you mentioned before we started recording, before we get into the heavy stuff, that you wanted to just talk about the space. We went through the holidays. It's been a long break for both of us in the podcast. Before we get into that, because you wanted to talk about Thanksgiving, I think, are we still having did our YouTube channel get shut down or something? Or
It did it first, but so I didn't upload it as a podcast, and so it said, "Oh, you've got some violation." So I had to re-download it. Luckily, I've still got the recordings and everything, but I haven't been on there in a while to check. But
to look and see if anyone's looking at us. Maybe you should share your screen and let's just take a peek.
Let's see, share screen.
Get all the dirty stuff off first.
I don't have anything too dirty.
I am not seeing a screen, but that's okay.
Well, I haven't done it yet.
Because you're getting all the dirty stuff off first.
No.
Jackie, can you confirm he's getting rid of it?
We're getting a divorce. That's it. Can't take this anymore. Can't take it.
Okay, here. Well,
I thought you were complicit in his dirtiness.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that's on him.
But should we mention those, dirty shirts that you guys wear?
What do you want to know?
I like his bald head. I like her butt.
That's it. All right.
Babe, why don't we have shirts like that?
You're not as cool as we are.
Well, that's true. Is it because I can't choose one thing that I only like about you?
Probably.
There we go.
Yeah, see, it's still up. But yeah, I got a message and it's from YouTube and it's like, you violated our terms of service. And I'm like, what?
All right. Is there a spot for views? Because that's what I'm curious about.
6 views.
6.
Again, I have not promoted it yet.
6 views. I love it. Lindsay, I don't think you've even viewed it.
Yeah, but I haven't promoted, so I'm ready to, now that we've got enough, and I think
that's like only our moms have watched it.
I know, only our moms. But we'll actually do some promotion. I told some people at work about it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you'll have."
Yeah, we'll just give me the. I'll look for the links and put them on my Facebook and all that stuff. But
I kind of was hoping to hold off. Well, anyway, I was wanting to hold off until I finally made my decision to leave my company, which I am. So
That's
that's
smart because
yeah.
I let the cat out of the bag. It was a huge like
It was the end of the world, but
slip of the
fine.
tongue.
Yeah. You were
Yeah.
trying to flip me the tongue? What?
I'm gonna leave. Keep laughing at you guys.
No, it's good. We need a laugh track.
Yeah.
We should have we should have a little laugh track. That'd be great. So tell me
Anyway,
about Thanksgiving.
yeah. So I'm planning on leaving my job. It'll be probably 2 weeks from now or something like that. I haven't been able to tell my boss because he's been out sick. So anyway, back to Thanksgiving. So we fried a turkey. That
Oh
was
wow.
exciting, deep fried, and
Mhm.
my wife made one in the oven just in case the one that was
That went
fried was not
horribly.
very good.
Yeah.
They both were the best turkeys I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah. Jaclyn's turkey had so much flavor. It was like amazing. And
Would it
then
surprise you to learn that Lindsay slathers her turkeys with mayonnaise?
interesting.
Yeah. Keeps all the moisture in.
Yeah. Jaclyn used butter, but yeah.
Yeah, I believe that Jaclyn's was better. Yep.
Anyway, she like stuffed it with all sorts of stuff. It was so good. Um,
It's better than you.
you know, yeah. You got a dirty mind.
What are you talking about? I'm just talking about stuffing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, we had everyone over for Thanksgiving. Jaclyn's parents and brothers and sisters, and her brother's moving out from Arizona, so we're gonna have a lot
Nice.
of family near us.
Yeah, you guys seem like pretty connected down there. That's nice.
Yeah, yeah.
We have no friends up here, so no one came to our Thanksgiving.
Oh,
No, it's just I was on call for both Thanksgiving and Christmas, so
bummer.
um, we just had to make a decision. Are we gonna kind of invite a bunch of people, and then all of a sudden Lindsay's by herself because I get called into work or blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah, and so it was just easier. We didn't invite anyone really, so it was fine.
Yeah.
What's I don't know if this is hard for Lindsay, but it's not really hard for me because I'm just not into the holidays. So to
Okay,
me, it's
screw.
just another day. Although I will say Thanksgiving, I get into because I like the historic value of it.
Yeah.
So I do like that, and I think it's a great holiday. Between Thanksgiving and 4th of July, those are my favorites.
Oh yeah.
Although, side note, hate fireworks. So figure that one out.
What?
It's something that's been developing for a long time. I didn't used to be this way because fireworks were just I'm a typical boy and typical dude, so I liked them, played with them, did stupid things, almost blew off my fingers several times, type stuff.
Yeah.
And then once I started working in gas and oil, I started not liking the big booms and the big noises, and it started causing some issues, and I don't like it.
Oh, I love them. I'm planning on doing a very large 4th of July this year for 250 years.
Yeah, 250 years. Like Lindsay mentioned that. I'm like, what? No, it's not. And she's like, yeah, it is. And I was like, wow, it's going to be pretty epic.
Yeah. Too bad you weren't closer. If you were closer, you could come and hang out
So,
and have a 4th of July
do you
party.
want to talk? Do you want to talk about that for a real quick second?
I didn't. I was opening that up for you.
So, there have been some opportunities at my work to take a new position. So, what's interesting is one of them would have been essentially a lateral move. Like I'd have the same title, but it'd be at a bigger facility. So it would be considered like a promotion. But then the other position that is near you and in Georgia, it would have been, the title is lower, like assistant terminal manager, because I'm a terminal manager now, so it'd be assistant terminal manager, but it's at a much bigger facility, so it would also be considered a promotion in an odd way. I think we are okay. I don't know if I can say too much. I don't think I updated you.
One view that we're going to have is going to be...
The one view that we're going to have is going to be someone from my work. So my assistant terminal manager is applied to a job. I wasn't aware of it. Like it's this whole long story. It's boring. I'm not going to get into it because only a few people really understand that whole situation. But he's moving, and so that all of a sudden changed everything, because at the time I was moving, I'm just going to say it, to get away from him. So he is now getting away from me, because as you mentioned earlier, people just know, they know everything. He's dodging a bullet, right?
Yep.
So so a lot, that was a big surprise in a way. And so now all of a sudden things got even tougher to decide what I was going to do. And it's kind of like the known versus the unknown, but I was willing to go ahead and do the unknown and go to a new place, move across the country, do a different job at a different terminal, just because how bad it was here. And then now all of a sudden that bad thing is gone. So
yeah,
might as well stay.
I don't know. Up to you.
Well, so the other thing I'll say too is I have not officially gotten any offer from these other places. So they're still in the process of, it's a whole HR process still. It probably will be another week or two before I even hear if I've got it or not or whatever. So
well, they met with you for 2 hours, so they know everything about you.
Exactly. It is amazing though, isn't it? Like, are you a first impression type person, or do you give someone multiple chances to show their true personality and self?
It's a little bit of both. It's interesting. There's some people that have been, like, we're in the singles community, and when I met them, they were not very attractive. I'll just say that. And then, like, things happen and life happens, and they work on themselves and they become a little more attractive. But I'm still like, I can't date you because of what I saw you initially.
Superficial. You're superficial.
I am.
You're so shallow. I told Lindsay, I don't know, it was a while ago. I'm like, babe, I am shallow and superficial. And she's like, what? No, you're not. And she was like trying to convince me of something I know I am. I'm like, no, I am. And she's like, yeah, but you didn't date me because of my looks. I go, yes, I did.
Well, for guys, I think looks is what gets you in the door.
Exactly. You know, it's just a thing, but I can do both, and I've been in that boat where maybe initially I wasn't attracted, and then you get to know them and you're like, wow, this person's amazing. They have great personality, all these things. They're intelligent, they're funny. We have shared life experiences, and they become more attractive. And then, you have to but then you worry. I think what you go back to is worrying about, well, am I going to be physically attracted to them for the lifelong, like the commitment. So I do think it's important to have both, and sometimes just both weren't there, and sometimes it was the opposite. They're way attractive, and then there's nothing there. There's no personality. There's no sense of humor. There's nothing.
Or there's crazy.
Or crazy, just filled with crazy. They call it crazy hot for a reason.
Yep.
So that was a side note, but
So where's Cameron going?
Oh, where's Cameron going? Lindsay asked. He's going into the tar business.
Sales. I'm going to be selling
asphalt. Up here we call it asphalt.
Yeah,
Asphalt.
okay.
What?
Okay.
We do. It's a Michigan thing. My boss says asphalt all the time. I'm like, asphalt? It's asphalt.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard that. Must be further north.
Like a lot of times, I was gonna make it. I'm gonna refrain from that joke. All right. So moving on. Yeah, he's making a big jump. So you think you're gonna like it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this was something that he came up to me at church and he's like, "Hey, what do you do for work? You should come work for me."
Wow. Do you know that you're not very likable?
I do.
That's a major component to sales. You have to be likable.
Yeah, and I had my personality extracted in chemistry class.
Well, that means you can formulate it again and get your mojo back.
That was my joke. I said I'm a chemist, but I failed personality extraction class, so I still got mine.
That's good.
Yeah,
Um,
I know.
so we're skipping around. So I think we've done a lot of small talk, right?
Yep, we're ready to dive in the
Oh
steak and
my gosh. Like I want to know. So I had skipped out on some news, and I think what day was it, babe? Was it? Yeah, it was Sunday. I'm on my way back from church. We had drove. It's a long story. We drove separate. We had to, and I'm
Well,
listening.
you're fighting. It's okay.
Right, exactly. And listening to the news, and they're talking about invading Venezuela and taking out Maduro. And on my jaw, my jaw is on the floor. I called Lindsay immediately, and I said, "Do you know about this?" And she's like, "No, what? We talked about it." And she did. She just didn't really realize what I was talking about, and I was shocked by it.
Yeah.
That's my initial reaction. I was shocked by it.
I woke up on Friday morning. No, Saturday morning. Because that's when it happened, right? Yeah.
I'm so far behind, I couldn't even tell you. Like I said, I found out on Sunday.
Yeah, I woke up Saturday morning and I'm looking through doom scrolling on Facebook because my wife's still sleeping, and I see my Venezuelan friends say something, and I'm like, "What?" And I was like, "What is going on here? This is crazy!" And just like see some videos and initial reactions. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is great! This is amazing!"
Yes. So I'll explain my reaction real quick, and then we'll go more into you because you have so much more in this. Since you serve there and you have friends there, and you're familiar with the area, but I was shocked because it wasn't a bad shock. It was just shock that we had done it. Sometimes I think in politics and with leaders, there's a lot of talk.
Yeah.
And I just kind of thought I remember, I was kind of, my first inkling was when we did a strike on a building. So basically on the country's land, we were taking out the boats. We did seize a couple of oil tankers, I think was the timeline next. And then we hit a building that was supposed to be like a drug warehouse where they loaded up the boats. Right?
Oh, right. On the dock. We hit the dock.
Yes. So I kind of thought maybe we'll just keep sticking to that for a while, and we'll keep, seizing some of their oil tankers because there's an embargo on their oil, and we'll keep taking out these boats, and we'll just kind of cripple them that way, in a way, right?
Yeah.
And then I just was shocked that we went in there and got them out. And it was, like I said, it wasn't bad. I was glad, and also what's the fallout and what's going to happen next, and what's consequences of all this, and how is this all going to go down months from now. So that's how I think. A lot of times it's like a chess game. If you do this move, what's the next moves and next moves and next moves, and what's going to happen. So I was pretty shocked. And then Yeah, I'm gonna stick to that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, regardless of how you feel politically, Maduro was, I mean, they had an election. He was not the rightful president, and yet he still was. He needed to be removed. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. He needed to be removed from power.
So if you take that statement alone, there's going to be a lot of, I'm going to play devil's advocate. A lot of people would argue with that because for a lot of people, this is political. And I think for a lot of people, they're ignorant to anything going on there. So I think ignorance is key here. And if anything, the American people are ignorant and forgetful and very short-sighted and very political. We're entrenched in our political ideals.
Right.
So Trump's a dictator, and we just took out another country's president just because we want to seize their assets. And it's like he invaded a foreign land and he's, we're taking over everything. So Trump is, this is Nazi Germany. This is Hitler invading Poland.
The funny thing is Maduro is everything that they claim Trump is.
I know. So one of the best videos, and I am not that political online. I'm not really, but I wanted to repost this video, and it was the best thing I'd ever seen. It said, how many days has it been since no kings, protest and going to leave that dictator alone? And then it flashed 77 days. It only took 77 days for the left to pivot from no kings. We're going to go out in tens and tens, hundreds of thousands of people across the country and protest no kings, which is their way of saying no dictators, anti-Trump rallies.
Yeah.
To 77 days later saying, wait a second, leave that a true dictator alone. Yeah. Leave him alone. So we're not okay with Trump, quote unquote, being a dictator in this country, but we are fine with someone else doing it.
Yeah.
Tell me, why does that make sense? How does that track logically?
It doesn't.
So you don't have to talk about your political views. I think at one point you had asked me, like when we were planning and talking some podcasts you wanted to know about, like how I ended up politically and where kind of like my political journey.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I'll be straight up about it. I had a mother who would almost scream at us a lot that we always, and this is from a young age, that we should always vote Republican. She was like a hardcore Reagan Republican. She was like president of her Republican high school group or whatever. Right. And so literally like you always vote Republican. Well, I already maybe was taught or had conservative ideals anyways. And then you kind of solidify that when I joined the church. But I will say, I had gay friends. My mom had gay friends. So we weren't like these hard, I don't even know if it's like far right wing,
Right.
We weren't racist. We weren't homophobic. We kind of also had some civil liberties and some maybe more natural Democrat liberal ideas, just open-minded. But that's a Michigan thing. Michigan for a long time was considered a purple state, both red and, blue. And so you grow up around people having different ideas and I just was a little more open-minded. I can go on and on and on. I'm not going to take over the podcast. I'll just say that I slowly started becoming libertarian more and more and more. And I would consider myself a conservative libertarian. And every once in a while, I'm still like kind of don't figure me out and don't label me, because I will swing left or right or liberal conservative, a lot. I can, because I'm more open-minded about it. And I'm more about progress or, like like if you're just talking about gay marriage, whatever you want to do in your own home, whoever you love, and why does that bother me?
Yeah.
So that's
I
where
like the way that they did it in Venezuela. So in Venezuela, you had to get married by the government.
okay.
So you would go to the town or city hall and get your marriage license and get married by the government. And then you could go to your church, whether it's, our church
Gotcha.
or a Catholic church or whatever church, and you can go get married at that church. That the ceremony at the church is not an actual wedding. It's just a solemnization or a,
Celebration or vows or something.
right. Yeah. And I was like, I like this idea. I think it would be great to do this. Everyone just gets married at the church or at the, county hall. And if you want to solemnize it at your church, go ahead. And I think that opens up and allows for, same sex marriages. But it also allows a church to say, hey, listen, we don't believe in this. And we don't want the government coming in and saying you have to,
Yes.
like I grew up fairly conservative. And it wasn't thrust on me like my parents, or like you're saying that your parents said you need to be a Republican. I don't know how I realized that my parents were conservatives or Republicans, but I just kind of knew. Was in a small town where most people voted Republican, but in our district we had a lady who was a Democrat, and I know my parents said, yeah, we vote for this lady because she does good, even though she's a Democrat. She represented us, and I even
Accurately, yeah. Serve the people, yeah.
yeah, but I'm not as hardcore as some people on the right. I I think that there's a lot of things that conservatives get wrong. And I'm guilty of it myself. Back I don't know, back maybe 2004, I was against gay marriage. Like I was like, I kind of and I wasn't against it because I don't like gays. It was more of, well, if this happens, how is that going to impact, what's that going to impact as well?
Right. No, I
Well,
get that because I didn't really get into all of that because I have that same story, and it definitely was more because like that's a great example. Like I don't know if I would have cared about like civil marriages or like government marriages or what people. It was more definitely was more religious, and I was anti-gay marriage for a quick hot second, and that is because I mean we officially as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we don't believe in gay marriage. What we actually probably will say is it's well, I think the church official stance still is like it's a temptation, and they shouldn't engage in the temptation. And then if you are, then you just can't do certain things in the church. But I have been at churches where there's gay couples there.
right.
And it has never bothered me. And
I would have zero issues with, a gay couple, married or not, being at the church. Zero issues.
Yeah, again, and it's one of those things where it's not for me to decide. Like I just don't have the pressure. That's what I've never understood is why is someone like I've had church members be like seriously anti-gay, right?
Yeah.
And I just don't get it. Like, why is that something that you need to be concerned about? That's
It's
an
going to
issue
rub off on you.
with literally. So that's an issue with God. Like, why is that? I don't need to worry about that at all.
Yeah.
My job is very clear. Love everyone, love God, love everyone else. And so, yeah, that's what I try to do.
And help others try and return to Heavenly Father, trying
Right.
to
Yeah.
be their best self.
Right. It's a pretty simple formula, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I've kind of leaned more libertarian, because life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, whatever makes you happy. I have very few rules. Like a lot of times it's don't harm yourself, don't harm others, and then you're good.
Yeah.
Right? So, but I say conservative libertarian because a lot of times, hardcore libertarians are anti-government, no government, no rules. And I'm like, no, we need to have some stability, some rules, and some government.
Yeah.
And then, you add in a little dash of progressiveness, because I do believe in like, let's progress, let's socially progress, let's like give people more liberties, let's give people more rights. um let's the thing is, if you're talking about um, gay marriage or gay people, just for an example, it wasn't long ago in not only our country but others, and some still today, that it's illegal to be gay.
Right.
And so I just I try to do good at imagining what would it be if I were in that country, or if I had children in that country and they were gay, and then they're jailed for it, or they're, persecuted for it, or they're
Yeah.
publicly shamed for it, all these things. Like, we need to progress past that. Like, let's be okay. So let's get back on topic, because I want to say, like, in the Philippines, that was a great experience for me, because that was really different. Like, I served in 97. So, but I came from the Midwest. So you didn't see this. I'm not saying this wasn't a thing in bigger cities or other places in our country, but you'd walk around in even these small villages, and there's guys dressed as girls, you know, and we called them lady boys, just like, you hear from
Yeah.
these other places. And the Filipino word is bakla. It was just accept they were just there. They're just chilling, and they'd have, straight, they'd be playing basketball with all the boys. It was just,
Yeah.
it was very, very, very accepted. And I was just like, wow, this is awesome. So I was trying to transition into, just you talking about Venezuela, talking about your mission, some of your experiences, and kind of blend the two, because, going from politics to more, what did you experience in Venezuela? And then we'll talk about Maduro more.
Okay. It was hot.
Muggy.
Muggy, yeah. No, it was I had a great time. I was in almost all of the outlying areas of Venezuela. So I was rarely in Caracas. I was only there for a couple of months.
Okay.
Um,
Is that where the mission home was then?
yeah, the mission home was in Caracas. And so I was always outside of Caracas, pretty much.
I was always in the sticks,
Yeah.
always in the rural areas. Yeah.
But I loved it. It was I was in one town, and it was just a small town. Like, you could walk across the whole town. I mean, we did a lot of walking anyway, but
Mm-hmm.
it was just a teeny tiny little town. And
Yep. That's how all mine were. I loved it. Yeah.
yeah,
So what years were you there?
98 to 2000.
98 to 2000. And this has, remind me, is this pre-Chavez?
Chavez was elected in like October, November of 2000 or 98.
Oh, so you were there.
I was there when he was elected. Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you again, another just side note question. Do we have missions there now?
I think we still have missions there, but they are purely Venezuelan missionaries.
Okay.
If they have them, that's
Is that by design or because of
because
political?
you can't have Americans in there, because
Okay.
Americans are hated, and it's not a stable country. I wouldn't want to send my kid there.
Right. And so the southern Philippines was the same way. It was a dangerous place, and so basically no non-white or only non-white missionaries got to go to southern Philippines because of the danger
Yeah.
of it. Okay, so that's interesting. So what did you see? Did you know anything about the politics there before you went?
Not before I went, but it was election season. I got there in probably July, July, and they were ramping up the political area. And I was talking about the politics, and I kind of said that you had two candidates, and from my limited Spanish, my limited interactions with the people, I saw that you had two candidates. One was, just for example, Joe Biden, and the other one was like Mamdani. Not necessarily their politics, but you had just this old dude who had been in politics forever, was corrupt as all get out, and the other guy was this young, flashy, like Chavez was the young, flashy, like, I'm going to change everything, and it's going to be great, and, full of hope and promise and all that sort of stuff. So those were your two candidates.
Not much of a choice, really.
Yeah, and Venezuelans, while they were still prosperous, there was a lot of corruption. I mean, it's a government, so a government's going to have corruption.
Yes, but let me. I always do these side notes. You're going to have to control them sometimes, but the U.S. is corrupt.
Absolutely.
We know there's corruption, but we're subtle about it, and we're kind of sneaky about it, and sometimes we even legalize it. Like when you're talking about
stock trades.
Well, or I was just going to say lobbyists, and campaign funding. We make it legal to literally have companies give millions of dollars to whoever they want.
Yeah.
So we're doing the same thing, but it's like cleaner, if you will. But
absolutely agree with you there. There's no disagreement there.
But like, I don't know about Venezuela, but I'll say in the Philippines is that political corruption was accepted. Like you got paid for your vote.
Yeah.
That's just an accepted cultural norm there, that during election season, here's your 50 pesos or here's your 500, whatever it is. And you had to show, that you voted, and then here's your money, and then drop it in. Right. So, there was a time that I had heard that our FBI, like our government, said that, like, kind of between the Philippines and like Mexico City, were some of the most corrupt places in the world. Right. So I can contest that it was corrupt, very corrupt in the Philippines.
Yeah.
So how is same in Venezuela, or worse, or just cultural norm, or just third world country typical stuff?
It was just third world country typical stuff. And I don't know that Venezuela at that point was considered third world. I mean, we had running water most of the time. We had power most of the time. Most of the small cities I was in.
I don't know what the criteria is for third world, or if there's even a second world. And I'm assuming we're first world, but you just don't call it. You don't say that.
Right.
Or maybe first world issues. I don't know,
Yeah.
But I don't know the criteria, but Philippines was definitely third world. Definitely.
Yeah. Now, there were parts of Venezuela that I would have considered third world, because, there was a place that we went to and they were stringing electrical, like, power lines with sticks from off the ground.
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
I'm like, oh, these are the power lines.
How is that different from the Appalachians? So we have places in our country that are third world, where people are like on dirt floors, with no running water. I mean, we have it too. It's just, what exactly is it? Has to be some, I don't know. I'd be interested in learning What's that?
Maybe a larger percentage.
It's got to be something. But okay, so going forward, as a side note, another side note, I was doing some research on oil there, and when you got there, that was their peak times of oil production was the late 90s.
Yep.
So I imagine things were kind of booming.
They were good. Yeah, things were fairly good in general, I think. I never had to fill up a car, so I don't know how much the gas was, but if I remember correctly, it was pretty comparable to the US.
Yeah, same in the Philippines. It was fairly cheap. But at some point, and I'm curious, I don't know when Chavez nationalized the oil companies. It had to have been close to when you were there.
I
But then,
think it was like 2002, maybe something like
okay,
that.
yeah, that tracks a little bit better. So you weren't there when they basically
No.
went socialist.
Yeah. So Chavez's political campaign slogan was the movement of the Fifth Republic. So he was going to rewrite the Constitution,
Yeah, yep.
and that's all
Which
the
is always
information
a good
we have.
idea, right? It's always a good idea.
We're going to get our people in there, and we're going to rewrite the Constitution, and we're going to help out the poor.
Okay, how did that work out?
I don't know. Venezuelans prosperous, right?
So,
They're doing great.
so I can tell you again, I did the research, and you talk about a steady, solid decline in oil production ever they nationalized it, and then like just downhill, you
Yeah.
know. And it's just that classic government trying to run an industry and horribly sucking at it.
Well, it's why I am personally convinced that government-run socialism, I'll just say, is not a good thing. I have zero issues if you want to be socialist, have 5 families where you're all pouring your resources together. Go ahead and do that. Zero issues. But the government taking over an industry and running it is a terrible idea.
Right. And I'm assuming it wasn't just oil, but that was that they okay, again, let's back up here and give the audience some information. They are sitting on not one of the largest oil deposits in the world.
Like Maracaibo.
Well, it still was like blows my mind because I never it took me many years to ever learn that. I was probably in my early 40s before I ever learned that, because for me growing up, Saudi Arabia, that was always number one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play devil's advocate just slightly and say, if they wanted to be socialist, okay, they should have been successful at it with as much resources as they have. But I think, and this isn't a pure assumption, because they should be like Kuwait. Kuwaitis, you talk about they're oil rich and their citizens are fantastically wealthy.
Right.
And you think of Dubai is the same way, right?
Yeah.
So why can't they do it? Well, this is an assumption as they nationalize the oil companies and there's corruption, they were lining their own pockets instead of doing people don't understand the maintenance. The maintenance for like an oil refinery is extreme. And you have to spend not only millions, but billions sometimes to keep them running, keep them up, and keep them going. And since you're corrupt and you're lining your pockets, that money's not going back into the infrastructure. And so slowly but surely, this thing decays and falls apart. And then you're seeing, I saw that in the numbers of them going down. They were doing like close to like 4 million barrels a day, which they were up there in the top oil producers in the world. And then now they're struggling to get 800,000 barrels out a year or a day or whatever it is. I don't know what it is. Yeah, they're struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that has to be it. But like, why? what I've never understood is that I think I've had that question for you, and I've questioned it myself. Like, where did they fail? I don't know. I don't know. I'm assuming. I'm making assumptions that it's just corruption.
Have you read Atlas Shrugged?
No, I haven't.
It's a monster book. So
Yeah.
I like it in some aspects, but basically the premise is in Atlas Shrugged, the government comes in and takes over everything, and they're like, all right, you're going to have to produce, and you have to continue producing, and the people who are like, well, I'm going to refuse to give you my intellectual property. You don't have my mind, and I'm going to leave. And basically it's an anti-socialism communism book, but like I'm not going to give you my, if you're going to force me to work at the job that I'm at, I'm going to be miserable, and I'm not. I may or may not do a great job, but
there's going to be nepotism too, right?
Oh, yeah.
In that system where instead of being a competent engineer, or even like in your chemist or chemical engineer or whatever, it's going to be someone's nephew, or that has no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're just riddled with problems. And again, I'm making tons of assumptions. So the one thing that I'm still catching up on with Venezuela and Maduro, like I understand Chavez, and I understand the tension between Chavez and like Bush and that era, and all the thing. I know a little bit about that, and I know Maduro was his like second, like took his spot after his death. I know a little bit about Maduro. I know that he was like a taxi cab driver and then became like a union leader and then kind of worked his way up,
Yeah.
And I understand, like, if you're driving a taxi cab at one point in your life and then you become president of Venezuela, that's not going to come without some type of corruption or violence or something.
Yeah.
Unless he's like some genius, evil genius, probably. So again, I'm going to admit, I'm not going to put like an expert. I'm not going to pretend that I understand. So I think I'm still playing catch up, because what I was learning is like this narco terrorism and this narco state, and being in bed with, these drug kingpins and all this stuff that I'm just not 100% familiar with. And then we just started taking boats out, and that was kind of new to me. And I knew, like I said, I knew a little bit about Maduro going up to the boat strikes, but yet I don't really have a ton of knowledge about what he did besides silence his enemies.
Well, I mean, there was, definitely some silencing of his opposition, and they were killing people in the streets and killing or disappearing people that didn't agree with him. I mean, they've had 8 million people move out of Venezuela. That's like 10% of their population.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of refugees, if you will.
Yeah, that's me on a low number.
So it's called fascism, right? What Trump is accused of. So one thing, okay, the news is, I don't want to lose my cool tonight, but the news, like, it's so frustrating, Cameron.
I know.
So they'll go on. Okay, this is what I love about the news. They'll go on and on and on about Trump and he's evil, basically. They're just so subtle about it, about how he's taking over. And then they'll do this little quip right at the end of the newscast saying, "Oh, yeah, the Venezuelan, tell us more about the Venezuelan government and the new thing that just came out. Oh, yeah, the Venezuelan government just made an announcement or like a declaration that anyone who his pro the U.S. strike and anti-Maduro, it goes to jail. Like they said that in the news, but it was just so quick, right there at the end, and it's like, people, pay attention, listen. I don't know much about what's going on, but they just told me.
Yeah.
That was on NBC. They said it, and it was, like I said, it was super quick that they just, we got to put this out here. Yeah, the Venezuelan government told the police to arrest anyone that is anti-Maduro. How is that? We can go out and say Trump's evil, no kings, and all these things, and we're not going to get arrested for it.
I know. He's a pretty
speech.
crappy fascist.
I know he's a pretty crappy fascist. It just
not good at silencing his opposition.
Right. I'm going to go back to my political position that I enjoy making fun of both sides. I can make fun of the left. I can make fun of the right. I'm going to sit there and tease and taunt maybe and like mock, because this is how it amazes me how blind people can be when they're so filled with hate towards one person. And trust me, Cameron, I understand. Like, Trump personally, he's a prick. I just don't like him. He's not someone I want to hang out with. He's arrogant. He's all these things. I don't like how he talks. It's the tone of his voice.
I agree.
All these things. Like, but the thing is, like, but remember Obama? What was Obama's thing? Oh, he's super cool. You'd want to hang out and have a beer with him. And honestly, he came off that way.
Yeah.
And did he or did he not take out Muammar Gaddafi in Libya, another oil-rich country?
Yeah.
He absolutely did. But he's cool, and Trump's a prick. So those two strikes are almost parallel. They're almost the same. You're just talking about a dictatorship, an evil guy, and guess what? It's an oil-rich country, and Obama didn't have government permission to do it. He just went in and did it, took him out.
Yep.
And he's great. He's cool for it. Oh, good job. And then now Trump does the same exact thing. Oh my gosh, he's Hitler. Look he's a tyrant.
Well, I've thought of politics for a long time as their sports teams.
That's perfect.
I mean, so I live in Georgia. So if you've grown up a Georgia Tech fan all your life, you hate all Georgia fans. And if you've grown up a Georgia fan, you hate all Georgia Tech fans. There's nothing that you could say that's going to convince the other person to come over to your side. And that's where we are politically.
Yep. No, like I said earlier in the podcast, we're so entrenched, we can't see anything.
No.
But what's crazy is Americans do have a very, very, very short attention span and memory, because yes, Muammar Gaddafi we can get into it, but it's same. It really is pretty same. There's obviously some subtle differences. We're talking about basically an Arab country versus a non-Arab country. All these things, you could sit there and like pick it apart, but honestly, when you boil it down, it's pretty darn similar. As I'm watching, again, I'll admit my news comes from NBC. I've just gotten into this habit. NBC, like, there's way better sources. Reuters, BBC, they're going to be a lot cleaner. I don't know, less politically one-sided. Where do you agree with or look? Where do you get your news?
I'm going to be bad and say I get it from Facebook, basically.
Facebook?
Like,
that's like saying Reddit.
Yeah, I know. But like, I'll find it's something that I like, an event that interests me. Like, for example, with the Venezuela thing, I turned on NBC News Live for an event. I'll watch something.
Yeah.
But I'm not partial to one. I don't sit and have Fox News on in my thing, and I'll look at multiple sources on
Yeah.
Facebook. Like I'm not just looking at the Go Republicans news group. I'm looking at I've got lots of liberal friends that I disagree with, but I enjoy seeing their stuff sometimes, and I like getting
Research
some
fine.
feedback on them
Yeah.
on what's going on.
Yeah. 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 So, I mean, like I said, I just kind of fell into it. I was looking for a very quick thing. I have about a 30-minute commute to work, and NBC Nightly News, the next day,
Mhm.
they give you like a condensed version of the nightly news from the night before.
Gotcha.
So it takes all about 20 minutes to get through, and it's nice. I
Yeah.
just kind of got in the habit, and I liked was it Matt Lester or
Matt Lauer,
no Lester
Lester Holt.
Lester Holt. Um, I liked him. I just liked him. It's one of those things where that's sometimes how it goes with news. It's more of the personality, behind the camera.
And
just
I
liked
think
him.
that's something that can be said. Like if you have a personal relationship with a newscaster, you're
Mhm.
going to trust what they say,
Yeah,
and
and
they're lying to you.
I know how to filter things out. I can see like it just sometimes it would make me a little upset when you knew that they were trying to lean a certain way or trying to like influence you a certain way, but I'm not influenced that way. So I could see through it, and it was just give me information. I
Yeah.
just so anyways, feel like I'm justifying it, but so this is what they've been doing though, and it has been frustrating to the point where I'm like, I almost can't watch this anymore. So they talk about the strike, they talk about the extraction, which by the way was amazing. The extraction, like, because with Gaddafi, that was not that clean. Like Obama went in with a hatchet, Trump went in with like a surgical knife, right?
Yeah, that's insane. Now, granted,
It's
Caracas is on the north end of the country,
okay.
and they took out some bombs in they called it La Guaira, which
Yeah,
is the beach area. So
yeah.
once you take out the anti-aircraft in the beach area,
Mhm.
it's just over the mountain and you're in Caracas.
Yeah. So I
So
mean, they had been so we obviously know they've been planning this for a while.
yeah,
Um, and another side note, they had been building a case against Maduro for a while. Okay.
yeah. Biden
Um,
had a $25 million
let
bounty
let's
on
not forget that. Let's not forget that Biden did have like you can't sit there and deny, like even Democrats, even Biden knew he was a bad dude. Like
Yeah,
let's get him out of there. Um, so um, they talk about that. They talk about the extraction, and then they talk about they want to focus a lot. So NBC focused a lot on how Trump is now the leader and now taking over the government, and that's how they word it. And Trump supported a lot of this with some of his, conferences he had. He's like, I'm the leader now in Venezuela. He just says it with his air. And it's like, gosh, someone put this on. Give him a prompter. Like, what I'm saying. It doesn't come off well. So I get it. I get people's rage, and the NBC was trying to enrage people. So it's a lot of folks, like a lot of it was just on how Trump's going to take over. And then this is what I love, because they've done this like 3 or 4 nights in a row. Then they want to talk about the airspace and how it was shut down for 24 hours. And these families are stuck in like Jamaica and the Caribbean they can't get out from their vacation. So it's like, how do you enrage Americans even more? By inconveniencing them,
yeah,
right? And it's like Crimea River, you're stuck in the tropics for a few days. Like I get it. You want to get back home. Your flights canceled because the military canceled all flights in the area. Why? Because it's safety related, right? But I'm like, but they kept going. I could understand them talking about it. I can understand them, but then it was night after night after night about all these people who couldn't fly home. I'm like, cry me a freaking river.
I
Right?
know.
And then,
Let me know next time that you're gonna bomb someone.
exactly.
I'm gonna go on vacation there.
Can you please let us know next time so we don't plan a vacation in the Caribbean?
No,
Oh
I want
man.
to plan a vacation so that I'm stuck there.
And they just keep trying. They keep trying hardcore to like have these people talk about these sob stories about them not being able to get home. And so then they also then a few nights, just a few nights ago, and they're still trying to tug at people's heartstrings and get people enraged about this. They show these Venezuelan soldiers and they're super close-ups, like you can only see the tops of their shoulders and their face, and they're perfectly coiffed hair, beautifully clean skin. There's nothing that you can see, and they look all, like, yeah, it was horrible. They're translated. Oh, it was a horrible experience to go through that. And I'm like, can we zoom out? Can we see some injuries? Like, and the thing is, I shouldn't laugh because who knows? Who knows if they actually got, but they didn't show it. They didn't show any injuries, right? There could have been. I haven't Googled that yet. I haven't really dove into that and like tried to research it to make sure were there any casualties from the strikes.
There
Right?
was like 80 people that died.
Oh, there really were casualties.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
I mean, I don't know why
But they're only saying one civil. Well, the last I heard was one civilian and 79 military people because you're operating the anti-aircraft
Well,
stuff.
I figured there had to been military losses. I was surprised that I didn't hear any numbers. So this is news to me.
See, you
I'm
got
not
to get off NBC and get on Facebook.
well. So the reason why like it surprises me is like they showed two different soldiers. I'm like, can we see some actual injury? Like that was bad for them to do that because in my mind they were really pushing it to try to look like this was worse than what it was. Like they didn't talk about casualty, so this surprises me that they wouldn't latch onto that too and say how horrible that is. It is, I'm not going to celebrate loss of life.
Agree.
It's bad, and also, when you're in the military and your president's a corrupt dude.
Well, they have like forced.
Oh, is it forced?
Conscription, yeah.
Oh, that's even worse. That makes me feel bad now. That's pretty bad. I don't know.
At least they did back in 2000. So
right, but yeah, again, I'm glad that there's more military than civilian. I say that in a very, very weird way. That I'm glad that you're right. Like if you're manning an anti-aircraft place and we bomb it to get in and to take the president out, there's going to be loss of life.
Right. It's an unfortunate casualty of war, but it's if the decision was made to go in and do this, then it's an unfortunate casualty, but it's an acceptable loss.
Okay. So before I feel really awful, let's keep going forward.
Did you didn't hear about Cuba having like 40 people that died?
Oh, well, no, what?
Yeah, like of those 80 casualties, Cuba was claiming that they had like 40 of them.
Okay. Because we bombed them too?
No, because they had Cuban people in Venezuela.
Oh, they're just trying to, yeah. Okay, I can already see through that. Okay. All right. So moving forward, that is terrible. It's always going to be terrible. That's just, yeah. So you said casualty of war, and I understand that's a state, just a kind of a saying, but are we at war with Venezuela?
No.
Because that's, okay. I don't think so either. This is just, so here's the other thing. And man, we don't have enough time, I think, we've already drag on for a while. It's gonna be a long podcast because it's just so much to unravel. But are we there for their oil?
I don't know. I mean, I think oil is a part of it. Are we there so that we can confiscate their oil? Possibly.
So that was my Facebook post, and it was generally I had a hard time deciding to do it because I knew it was going to cause some issues, which it's fine. You know, I don't ever have a problem losing friends. Like if you don't want to be my friend on Facebook, it's not going to hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
Because I want to talk logically, I want to talk intellectually, I want to talk factually. And factually, the U.S. does not primarily use heavy crude, which is what is in Venezuela. It's nasty crude. It is more molasses tarry than it is more like, you know, like light crude is more like would be more like a syrup or something, you know.
Yeah.
So if you've never been around crude oil, it is this nasty stuff.
Yeah.
And when it's heavy crude, it's even nastier. And so we, as U.S. oil refineries, we've switched from heavy crude to light crude, and that is because of the shale oil boom that happened. And it actually has a lot to do with Trump when he was opened up domestic drilling, and we, for the first time ever in our history, became a major exporter of oil than importing. And we were one of those top oil producers for a while, and then of course Biden took over and ended all that. So now, you know, but we're still doing tons of light crude. We haven't stopped doing that. So,
all right, I get a sidebar.
Okay,
so how this is the chemist in me. How do you get the heavy versus the light? Like, is it all about the decomposing, or do you know?
You know, like that is interesting. It is exactly kind of what you're talking about. It's going to be situational. It's going to be how it becomes oil. It's, you know, we call it shale oil because it's like a bunch of basically old oysters or something like that versus maybe a bunch of old, like you're talking about a lake that basically sunk down and it's like a bog versus something a little bit cleaner. Like I don't know that part of it, but I know that we categorize, you know, heavy, light, sweet, sour, and it all has to do with pH and like gravity and all these different factors, right? And there's even subcategories, I'm sure. Like that stuff is more in your realm than I would really ever know, but basically it's just the light crude is a cleaner crude, and it's just easier to turn into refined products because it's just not as nasty. So it doesn't leave all this nasty residue and things you got to clean up, and it's way different. So are we there for their oil? Like to me right now, no, but it was already mentioned in the news. I'm not going to get into a lot of it because I understand way too much of it. But like when Chavez nationalized the oil, well, there was American oil companies there, and he kicked them all out. Says, no, we want all your infrastructure,
all your stuff. Yeah.
Well, guess what? They want it back.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. So okay, so we have so little time, man. I'm curious about is Trump trying to take over Venezuela?
Okay, on that note, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
How much of what Trump says do you think he actually believes, or is he playing a caricature?
I think he messes with people more than we realize.
That's my thought. Like when he did the Trump 2028, I don't believe that Trump's going to run in 2028. I wouldn't vote for him in 2028. And I heard something where He's like, hey, I like this 2028 hat. Which Trump are they talking about? And he's talking to his son. You know, whether or not he or his son runs, I don't. But it's just like he's messing with the reporters, trying to throw him off of whatever he's actually doing.
I think he's just rage baiting.
Yeah.
Can you not see Trump tweeting or whatever it is anymore saying, I'm going to turn Venezuela, rename it into Trumpland. It's now called Trumpland.
That would be so funny. I would laugh.
You know, I could just see him doing that, and it's just going to be just to enrage people more.
Yeah.
You know, so here's the thing is though. So I did search that, and it is not uncommon for the U.S. government to take over and be leadership in another country after World War I, World War II.
Yeah.
When we took out Noriega in Panama, we were the interim government.
Yeah.
Because we just took out the president. I'm sure something happened with Muammar Gaddafi, but I didn't research that.
Yeah.
So, like, how do people not realize that this is just commonplace? You don't just go in, take out their president, and go, see ya.
Good luck. Yeah, there's a power vacuum, and that's the only part that I'm like, well, what's going to happen now? And
Right.
You know, and what's going to happen with the Venezuelan people? Are they going to? I think it's going to be a hard 6 months.
Oh, it is.
Minimum.
So my biggest curiosity is how are we going to honestly ensure legal, fair, and incorrupt voting? Exactly how? Like, I don't want to just say, oh, no, because
we'll send Jimmy Carter down there. Oh, wait, that's what Jimmy Carter. He was down there when Chavez was elected.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Well, he's known for being I'm not going to go.
I don't think he's going to go down there because currently he's automatically voting Democrat because he's dead.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say. So, I can't remember the lady's name. I know she's been mentioned a few times, but she was the one that ran against Maduro not long ago.
So she was the vice presidential candidate.
Really? No. We're talking about two different people. So his vice president right now is the interim president, and she's just.
You're talking about the lady who was the Nobel Peace Prize. She won the Nobel Peace Prize, right?
Is that the same girl?
I think so. Not the current assistant vice, or not the current vice president,
right?
But the opposition, the ones who are running.
But I thought that was a presidential vote, and she was running against Maduro.
Regardless, yes, whoever.
Okay, so I'm gonna bet that she will win the election.
Yeah.
Because by many. I don't know how we know this. Maybe people did poll, like they asked people who they voted for after the polls, and like we kind of know that it wasn't Maduro that won. It was this lady, right?
Yeah.
And of course, he was like, "No, I won by a landslide," and it's completely unfair, illegal elections. And obviously, he's been doing that for years, and we understand that it's a dictatorship, so. I think that lady is probably going to become the official president.
I think so after they hold some elections.
That's again, I think I'm more into the details of things sometimes, and I get caught up in the details. I just want to know, how do we ensure that? Like, do we sit there and literally put boots on the ground and our own troops, and we watch over the polling? I just don't. I don't know how that works.
Yeah. Well, someone commented and said that there's probably a lot of people, or some people in the government, in the Venezuelan government, who are working with our CIA.
Oh, sure.
To him. And so I think that there's enough suspicion with the people that are currently running the government, that they're like,
Mhm.
well, I don't know, I'm going to actually behave and be a better. Someone was trying to sneak by. But that they're like, we'll go ahead and we'll behave. And there's also the threat that Trump could, or the U.S. could go in and pull them out because we've already done it.
Yeah. So okay,
So they're going to behave because of the threats that are.
let's look into your crystal. Let's look into your crystal ball. No, I'm not talking about your head.
Oh.
So here's my prediction, but I wanna pick your brain. My prediction is, all those different multinational oil companies, because it's not just U.S. oil companies, are going to go in. They're going to fix the infrastructure, which used to be their own. They're going to get back up to their production levels that they were before. It's not going to be for the U.S. I'm already going to put my foot down with a lot of people and say it is not for U.S. oil production currently, because our U.S. refineries are tooled for light oil. That is not an argument for me. So this is going to be for world production. So there's a lot of countries outside of the U.S. that use heavy crude, so that's great. So they're going to be able to get all that oil out of the ground. They're gonna. It's dumb and naive to think that those companies are not going to get their money back.
Right.
They're going to get profits. They're going to get their money back. I don't know when things are going to kind of basically go back to Venezuelan control, or if it won't be nationalized again. I don't know. That's the stuff I want to pick your brain about. Is it going to be a socialist country? Is it going to be nationalized? Is it going to be more like how we see the U.S. economy in Venezuela? And then ultimately, if they have fair democratic elections, are they going to remain that way?
I think it could, yeah. I mean, it was 28 years ago that Chavez was elected. You know,
that's a long damn time, and it's a long time for people to get used to a certain system.
Yeah, but they still had pretend elections.
Yeah.
Even though they were rigged, they still were electing people, and so I don't know. I think it'll be. I think 10 years will give us a good
10 years.
Not that everything's going to be stable finally in 10 years, but I think in 10 years we can look back and say, okay, this is where it's gone.
No one's going to remember or care 10 years from now. No one's going to go, oh, Trump was right. Look at all his actions he did was right.
I understand, and I agree. I don't think this gets resolved like initially, like we'll have elections by the end of the year. I think that's when we'll have elections.
You know what's sad about this is I think give it 2 or 3 months and no one's going to even remember about Maduro.
Who?
That's just how we work. We just move on to the next thing and the next problem and the next.
I've got my signs posted for the next protest, so I'm ready to go.
Are they blank or do you have them filled out?
Well, they're already filled out. I can't tell you what they are.
Oh, okay. That's Facebook information.
So, oil question. So you say that the Venezuelans have the heavy crude and we use the light. So if I'm gassing up my car, and let's say I take my car down to Venezuela for some odd reason, it just magically appears in Venezuela, and I'm gassing up my car, is it the same?
It's all the same.
It's all the same. So if they're refining the gas down there,
it's all about refining. It's the raw product that you start with, and just think of, like I said, just think of it this way, that
the impurities and the
impurities, and all these things. So like it takes all these. So we literally have units that were set up to run heavy crude to get all those impurities out. They're called cokers. They're called sulfur units. They're all these different type of units. They're stone cold. I mean, because they're usually, when they're running, they're super hot, right? So that's how they're cold, and they've been cold for a long time. No one's running them. No one's running these units, and they haven't for years and years and years. So to to run those units and to like just a coker unit, and it's hard to. I would struggle without some reminders and doing some searching to remind me what they do and how they're, because I am not I'm on the refined products end, right? I'm
Right.
just for everyone else. I'm the gas and the diesel, the stuff that crude oil is turned into. I'm not a refinery person per se, but we get updates, we get all this information all the time in my industry. But if I was actually at the refinery, I could probably articulate this a lot better. But all I can say is I do know that like running those coker units and then cleaning them out is a huge process. It costs millions and millions of dollars. And so that's all it is. You're still getting the end product, gasoline, if you will, at a much cheaper cost. You spend more on the raw product. Light crude oil is more expensive. My bad, my laptop's going to die.
Uh-uh.
So you spend more because they realize that it's cleaner and easier to make, but then you're not having all those end costs on cleaning out units and maintenance and all these things. So at the end of the day, it is cheaper and more convenient and more profitable to run light crude than it is heavy crude.
Makes sense.
That's it. But then these other countries that have been running heavy crude for years or decades, they're just used to the process. So they'll take on that heavy crude. So overall, so to me, this is what I said in my Facebook post. How is this not a win-win-win? So we get oil flowing. That's going to help the Venezuelans eventually. Money should be coming into their pockets eventually. And even if it's just employment and employing Venezuelans in all these, situations, it improves the oil market as a whole, like the world oil market. And then even environmentally, like why wouldn't we want more U.S. standards and better equipment there, better infrastructure than this old dilapidated crap? So you're going to eliminate some environmental issues too, and oil spills and all these things. So it stabilizes the whole region. It benefits the Venezuelans, and that's what I want to pick your brain about. Is like life under Maduro and life under questionable whoever the new president. How does life change? Because like right now, like I said earlier, you can't go out and protest against Maduro without getting arrested.
I don't know. I think that things will change, and I think
Do
that
you think? I'm sorry to interrupt. Do you think it's going to go back to like 1998 Venezuela that you knew?
I think it'll probably go closer that way. I don't think it's going to stay the way that it is.
Yeah. TBD.
Yeah, call me back in 10 years.
10 years, man. That's just insane. But I get it.
I'm just saying, by 10 years, we'll be able to look back and say, yes, this was good.
Yeah. No, I every time you
It
say
may
that,
be
I freak
earlier,
out.
but
You're right.
yeah.
But even like 6 months from now, when we actually get to something, it'll just be a news quip. It'll just be real quick. Oh, Venezuela had some elections and they got a new president. And then we'll just move on.
Yeah, we will. Because we don't care about them.
But right now, we sure do. Like I was kind of starting at the beginning, it's like, as white people, I'm really enraged in what's happening in Venezuela.
Yeah.
I'm enraged for them.
Yes.
I don't know what's happening there exactly, but I'm enraged for them. And how dare Trump do this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think time will be the tell. The tell.
Yep.
Tell.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. Well, always enjoyable, man. Anything else you want to get off your chest?
No, I'm good.
Oh,
Life's good.
Yeah, I do. I think we can almost do another podcast because on this subject, because I do find it fascinating that you were there.
Yeah.
And I'd love to maybe do some more research at kind of before Chavez, and because you mentioned that even that old dude that he replaced was corrupt.
Yeah.
And I would love to talk about the Philippines more, because same thing kind of happened. A similar situation happened in the Philippines, that like there was this golden era of the Philippines where life was really good, and then corruption came in with the Marcos, like Imelda Marcos and the Marcos family, and they were kind of known historically for giving the example and giving the pattern of government corruption and what you can get away with and what you can do. And since then, the company or the country is not at all the same. Like there's pre-Marcos and there's post-Marcos, and it's rough, man. It's rough. Oh, and I have a whole different angle to go on. So this might be like a preview for the next podcast. And get this. Okay, this might blow your mind, and this will be super religious if someone, so we can super offend people.
Okay, I'm ready.
Remember, like with Moses and Aaron and getting to the promised land, and once they got there, Moses wasn't allowed to go in. That's a separate story. But Aaron was told, you go into this valley and you wipe out every single man, woman, and child. Right? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And
Joshua, but yeah.
So
was
yeah.
It Joshua?
Oh, was it Joshua?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So
learn your Bible, dude.
No, well, we're going to. That's part of why I'm bringing it up, because we're going to be learning about we're going to be studying the Old Testament this year. So I just find it fascinating that, so here we have this situation, and there's a correlation. Let's just kind of, again, preview with it. We know what's happening in South America. We understand like there's been a huge boom in our church down there for decades now.
Yeah.
And yet it's home to some of the most corrupt countries in the world. How do we not know that this is supposed to be happening, that we're just cleaning house through South America? Because we have all these amazing righteous people there that should be in a country that is not corrupt.
Yeah, I don't know.
Kind of like we're cleaning that valley out, right?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about every man, woman, and child. I'm just, the correlation is they were marked as like kind of evil, you know. It's interesting. I just find it interesting. I know it's a stretch. I know for a lot of people that aren't used to maybe talking religious, it's a stretch, but I find it fascinating. I find it interesting. And if you're LDS, you might understand it better, but why wouldn't we want Latter-day Saints in South America to be in a better country with a better government?
Right.
That's it.
I think we would.
Why not?
Are you saying take the people out of the South American countries and move them here?
I'm just, no, like they should be able to be there in their own land.
Right. I agree.
With not an evil, corrupt government. Because again, man, this is a stretch, and it makes me sound like I'm MAGA, but I'm not MAGA. But is Trump following the will of God? Do you believe that in presidents? Is this all supposed to be happening?
Know that it's necessarily him following God. I think it's I think it is supposed to be happening.
So it's a very deep question, because
it is.
Because like I'm gonna re-emphasize to people, I am not a personal Trump fan. Like, you know, a dude that's, you know, the stuff like grab him in the you know what and all those things.
Yeah.
Like he's just kind of a sleazebag. He's like a billionaire sleazebag, right? I see him as a businessman that's just looking at a problem and getting something done.
Right. And that's what I like about him, is that he's like, here's this problem. Here's how I would fix it in the business world. It's hard for him to take that business and translate it into politics.
He's not like a He's not good at swaying the public opinion.
Right.
He's just like, take it or leave it. This is what I'm
He
going to
doesn't
do.
care what you think.
He does not care.
You know.
So there's good and bad in all of that. So like I take the good with the bad. I try to filter out. And I am not unlike this with Obama or Clinton or Bush or whoever. I can sit there and see through things, good or bad, so I'm fair. If anything, I'm fair. So that's my rebuttal to anyone is like, if you want to have a discussion about Trump and you're enraged by these recent actions of his, then I'm assuming you're also enraged when Obama did it in Libya with Gaddafi.
Right.
And if you weren't, then we don't have a discussion here.
Right.
That's it.
Well,
that's as simple as it gets for me.
So my simple answer is that yes, Trump was there by the will. I believe that Trump was elected by the will of God. But by saying that, I also have to say that Biden was also elected by the will of God. I mean, if that makes sense.
Sleepy Joe, was he awake when he got that call?
He was resurrected. No, but I mean,
it is a stretch, and I can't help to just keep saying this, Cameron. I'm sorry. I just don't want to come off wrong or be labeled as some weird religious nut, because it's a stretch. Like it's a very, very good question, because you could go back to JFK, who was a known philanderer.
Right.
He consummate cheater on his wife, and even Clinton was the same way. Like, we know all those things. Monica
What about
Lewinsky.
David?
Well, again, David, but then there's severe consequences. Like, are we honestly going to say that in politics that there's like how it's such an interesting topic, because to get to the number one political spot in the most powerful country in the world, you're not necessarily going to be a good person. It doesn't
Absolutely.
right? So then is he able to influence the president of the US?
I think so, yeah.
For even if they're good or bad or evil people.
He works through me.
True.
I mean, I believe that God works through imperfect people.
It's a very interesting, deep topic that we don't have time for anymore. But I wonder if you'd want to go on and keep talking about this next time.
We can do that, sure.
Because it's just it's a tough subject for me, because I don't like being mislabeled or mischaracterized, because I'm not that like, I'm not a MAGA. I don't worship the president. I never have. I
don't either. Like, I saw January 6th. I was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. And we're doing this on January 6th.
All I see when you say January 6th is that dude with the bullhorns and everything, and like the American flag over, and I'm like, that is way too far for me.
Right. Now, I think that there are also some questions about what happened on January 6th.
Sure.
About were they, was everything above board? I don't know.
So let me pivot real quick. This will be the last thing I have.
Pivot!
Because we understand this as LDS people, that there were people.
Did you not get the joke?
Pivot?
Yeah, from Friends.
No, I'm not a Friends.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a huge Friends fan.
They're moving a couch up the stairs, and he's
Pivot. Yes, I do know that.
Pivot!
Okay. So we understand as LDS members of we're LDS, that there were king prophets. I mean, there are king prophets in the Bible too, but I don't know if they're as labeled, but we understand there were king prophets, right? So if we had a king prophet or a president prophet, let's go with that, would he have invaded and done the same thing in Venezuela? You don't have to answer. That's going to be my end little thing.
I think that if he would have been told by God to do it, then yes, he would have, but I don't know. We'll crack that open next time.
Exactly. That's my food for thought, man. Like,
all right.
Lone
and Dreary podcast out.
Out. Deuces. Figure out how to stop recording